Hello everyone, Dark here with another video for you guys. In this video we're going to be talking about leveling alts in Final Fantasy XIV versus leveling alts in World of Warcraft. So this video will be great for all the alt lovers out there, because I know I'm one of them, as I have almost every class in World of Warcraft at max level. So this one will be a good one to see what the two different games have to offer. And which one has better experience leveling in alt. So as you can see, we're going to start off with Final Fantasy. Here's my character, and he's a level 57 paladin right now. That's as far as I've progressed from the last time I recorded a video. In Final Fantasy, your character is different than your class, meaning that the class doesn't define your character. So you're basically a warrior of light. You're special, and you can pretty much go and gain expertise in any class that you want. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So you go to the trainer for that specific class, and in Final Fantasy they're called jobs, and you pretty much ask them that you want to train in that specific job or class, and that's basically how you do it. Now your level is there's a level associated with the actual the actual class that you have. So I'm a paladin, I'm level 57, but if I show you my classes, you'll see that I'm also a level 31 Dark Knight, a level 28 Lancer, a level 28 Rogue, an Arcanist, and a Blue Mage, right? And I can change between any of these by basically changing my weapon. And I have a gear set list here, and I can show you guys. Like, for example, I can swap to being a Lancer, which is a completely different class. And I'm a level 28, I think. Yep, level 28 Lancer. And so that's pretty much how you switch between your specs and between your classes. And it's really as simple as that. Now, the cool thing about Final Fantasy is that, well, there are a few cool things. The first one is actually that your character progression is different than the level of your class. So you progress your character by going through the story as either of these classes that you have, and whatever achievement, whatever things that you unlock stay unlocked even when you change to, for example, Lancer. I'll give you an example of flying in the following section. So as an example of character progression not affecting your class levels, so I'm a level 28 Lancer here, as I showed you guys, and I was able to unlock flying on my character at level 50. At a level 50 Paladin, when I went through the story, I got to a point where I could earn flying, and now I can fly on this character even though it's not at the right level yet, right? So even though I'm a level 28 Lancer, it doesn't matter, I can still get on my mount and fly, as my character has progressed enough to unlock flying, right? So I think that's really cool. It really helps with leveling. It's a very good experience. You feel that you've made progress with your character, and it actually reflects in the game, which is awesome. Another example is, if you've seen the first video where I showed you can have your mount as a companion which fights for you basically as a pet, right? So when you get to level 15 on a specific class and you progress through the story, you get a quest which pretty much unlocks having a companion. But that wouldn't even if I'm let's say if I swap to Blue Mage, which I'm level, let's see what I am. I'm level 8, right? So I'm not at level 15, and I'm not at level 50 to be able to fly, but that won't matter because my character has progressed far enough to do both of those things, right? So I can even summon my companion, and obviously that makes questing a lot more easier, right? Because you have a pet which can tank for you or do damage depending on what you want it to do. So that's another aspect. So your character progression is separate than the level of your actual class, right? So the level of the class, all it's reflecting is how far you've progressed in that specific job, how many skills you have. And it also, the main quest line also has a level requirement as well. So that also affects your class. So the next thing I want to talk about is so how alt friendly is Final Fantasy in respect to gaining levels. So basically in Final Fantasy, what they do is if you have a high level class, so for me, my paladin is the highest level, 57. When I try to level the other classes, I get 100% XP bonus, which is amazing, right? They want you to be able to level up faster when you're trying other specializations. And that's, I think, is awesome. And the fact is that the more the level disparity is between your highest level class and your lowest level class, the more experience you get. So I think at this point, when I kill a mob on my Lancer, I get around 138% XP, and it's very helpful. You can see in the background when you're running a dungeon, and on the bottom left you can see the percentages that I'm getting. So since we have the same character and we're playing on the same character, we obviously progressed through the main story. So how do we actually level? So there are a few options that Final Fantasy does present when you're leveling. So you can do these quests that are available in every city. They're called leaves, I believe, Leve, and I'll show you here. So there's an NPC which gives these quests, and in each city or town, there's one of these NPCs, and each of them give quests associated to a specific level. And there are different kind of quests that you can take. So over here you can see this is specific to level 10, so it's from level 10 to level 15. And they have, you know, an experience and some gil or gold if you want, and they also, some of them also have some weapons. And the cool thing about these quests is that they're all pretty quick, and they're all just near you, around you when you actually start them. So it's really fast to go complete. And then also you actually choose a difficulty when you start the quest. So let me show you guys. So basically when you initiate the quest, you can choose what difficulty you want it to be, and then you get bonus XP based on how hard the quest is and how fast you complete it. So I think that's a cool mechanic. So it's kind of like dailies in World of Warcraft, but it's much more sophisticated, where you can choose the difficulty and you can use them to actually level over and over again, rather than doing the main quest. If you don't want to do these, you can also do the side quests, which are available. You can see all the exclamation marks if that's something you want to do. The other option they provide is to go on, and I showed this in the first video if you want to go take a look at that, but you have this log of, you can go hunt these different creatures and they give XP. Like if you kill 3 of these, you'll get 410 XP, and it kind of gives you the rough location of where it is, but you can also Google to get exact coordinates, and you can do these as well. The other one which I found is one of the most efficient is to use the duty finder, which is like the group finder in World of Warcraft, and you can do dungeons and guild has as well. And these ones are kind of like scenarios where you're in a group with 3 or 4 people and you go and kill a quick boss. These are pretty fast. Other than that, you can also do these quests that are related to your crafting, to your professions as well. So stuff like this is like stuff related to your crafting, or like if you have a gathering profession. I haven't actually tried these out yet, so I do want to make that a separate video where we talk about professions in Final Fantasy versus World of Warcraft, because it's pretty comprehensive. But other than that, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's pretty quick. It's cool that the fact that the developers have thought about making it easier to level alts is very nice. I think it's great that they give a XP boost of that significance when you're actually leveling your your other classes, and it makes it more enjoyable in my opinion. And I also like the fact that you're the same character and with the same progression, and you're able to change between your classes whenever you want. You know, maybe you feel like you want to do this quest, you know, as a tank, but you want to do the other one as a healer. You want to do the other one as a DPS spec, and it makes it very fun, and you become very versatile. So I really like that about Final Fantasy. Alright, so with that being said, let's hop over to World of Warcraft and see what we have there. Alright, so in World of Warcraft, there's a completely different paradigm to Final Fantasy, and I find that fascinating. So in World of Warcraft, your character is defined by your class. So at the starting screen, you basically choose a class, and that's all you can play. And you can't change into another class at any point. And so that's not something. I mean, that's something that's completely different to Final Fantasy. It is worth mentioning though that every class has 3 different specs, right? So for example, this is a shaman, and you can be 3 different specs, and they have 3 different play styles. So they're completely different, and they're not similar. So for example, a shaman has 2 DPS specs and 1 healer spec, and you can change between them at will. I don't think you can do it in dungeons, but I don't think you can do the same in Final Fantasy either. So with that being said, if you ever want to create an alt, you have to go create a new character, start from level 1. The thing is that it's not like Final Fantasy where if I've unlocked flying on my main character, like if I have unlocked flying on this guy, I'm not going to have it on my level 1, on my alt as a level 1. So I have to reach level 30 until I can fly, or I have to reach level 20 or 10 to be able to get on a mount. So that part of it is not similar to Final Fantasy, and I think Final Fantasy has an edge over there. Now, with regards to XP bonus, there is no XP bonus in World of Warcraft when you're leveling an alt. There used to be where you could get heirlooms, which gave you bonus XP and whatnot, but they kind of removed that from the game. The heirlooms don't give bonus XP anymore. They just decreased. So the same way that Final Fantasy has rested experience, WoW has the same, and all the set bonuses do is give you basically more rested bonus by making you consume less of it. But the truth of it is, in World of Warcraft, the leveling process is so fast now that it doesn't really matter. Like, you can easily get to max level under 24 hours play time, even if you're new to the game. That's just the reality of it. It's just so fast nowadays that I'm not sure if that's why they removed it, but I mean, having more XP once you have a max level character is a good thing, I think, and maybe it's a good thing for them to add in. As for how you actually level in World of Warcraft, your alts, World of Warcraft has taken a pretty different approach to Final Fantasy. So with Final Fantasy, I mean, in general, it's not even just for alts. You pretty much have to play throughout the whole story, and all the expansions, in order to get to max level. And in World of Warcraft, however, they do it a bit different. They have a different paradigm. At level 10, you pretty much come to this NPC called Chromie, and you choose what expansion you want to play. So, you know, I can either play Cataclysm, I can play Legion, or any of the other expansions. And I basically just play the story for that expansion. And to be honest, even when you actually do that, you don't actually get to play the whole story because you level up so fast that you don't even make it through the whole story for that specific expansion. So there's not as much immersion as Final Fantasy in that aspect, but at the same time, you don't have to go through the whole story. But to be fair, in Final Fantasy, for your alts, you don't have to go through the whole story, right? You already progressed, your character's already done all of that, so You're not doing the story at all. And the other thing that Final Fantasy does is if you level, for example, two classes together, then you can switch between your classes as you're progressing through the story, which is kind of sick. And the other option you have in World of Warcraft is obviously you can queue for dungeons. And you can level through that as well. And that's what a lot of people do when they're leveling. And there isn't really any other option. There's no like hunting option or leveling via dailies. When I say it's not an option, it isn't that it isn't possible. Like you can actually level through PvP or crafting, but it's so slow that and abysmal that I don't really see it as an option. Some people do it as a challenge and it takes them like ages to do it. So it's not very comparable. While in Final Fantasy, it is really an option to do those all those different things. With that being said, it kind of concludes everything I have to say about World of Warcraft. And at the end, I feel like I like the Final Fantasy paradigm a bit more here. It's a bit more enjoyable to play. It's a bit more immersive as your one character, and you go and learn all these other classes, and you can swap between them. Even when you're doing the main quest is quite fun. And the XP bonus for trying out all the different jobs is also really good, and it just gives a good feeling that the developers care about your time. So I think there are some good takeaways, and I think that choosing an expansion and playing the story is also something that Final Fantasy can maybe take away from World of Warcraft. Maybe someone wants to replay one of the expansions on their alt job in Final Fantasy as well. Maybe that's something that they can think about. But with that, I think it concludes this video. Thank you for watching, and the next video I'll be making is comparing dungeons and how they play in Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft. I think it's going to be very interesting to people to see some of the fights in both the different games. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.